Okay. You guys seeing it okay? Hi everyone, my name is Sally Blumenfeld and I'm the current treasurer for 2nd District. And today I just want to share with all of you some things that we all as leaders should know about PTA finances. We'll probably hold a more specific in-depth treasurer's training later on. But for right now, I just want to cover some fiduciary responsibilities, some common financial reports that we'll be seeing, what the tax requirements are, some proper procedures, and what are letters of determination. So fiduciary responsibility. So every PTA board member has a fiduciary responsibility to protect the assets of the organization. That's just the basis of what everyone should be doing. We want to ensure that everything is transparent through our financial reports and at the meetings, so everyone knows what's going on. And we want to make sure that what we're doing is carrying out the purposes of the PTA. One important thing that we need to do over the summer when we transition to the new board, of course, is to change bank signatures. And that includes all the online accounts that you may have, like PayPal or Square or anything else that you guys use. So don't forget to change all of these signatures on those accounts as well. So there we have a 2 signature requirement on all checks and accounts, and that includes the president and treasurer, and any 2 elected officers are authorized to sign. So you can have multiple people designated as authorized signers, but out of those, you will need 2 actual signatures on the checks. So, so the exceptions are the secretary and the auditors cannot be signers. Okay. Also, signers cannot be related by blood or marriage or reside in the same household. And then SFUSD employees are also prohibited from signing checks. Those are the only requirements for check signers. Some of the common reports that we'll be using are budget. This is something that the board would be working, the new board will be working on over the summer. And the board is, the budget is initially approved by the board and then by the general membership at the first general meeting. The budget is the document that you'll be monitoring throughout the year, and it's the responsibility of the whole entire board that you guys are adhering to this budget that you develop. But of course, the budget is a working document and it can be amended by the board and general membership throughout the year if things change. The second, the second document is a monthly treasurer's report. The treasurer's report should include some actuals versus budget, and it should be presented monthly to the executive board for approval first, and then at the general meeting for the association to approve as well. It should show the time period from the last meeting to the current meeting, and it should include the balances of the accounts, beginning balance and ending balance, and any activities that occurred during that time period. Also, there should also be a list of monies received as well as disbursements, who they were dispersed to and which line item it hit. And then all of these disbursements need to be ratified by the general membership. Audits, that's very important. The audits are done twice a year, mid-year and year-end. And if an auditor has not been elected, one should be appointed by the board. And the auditor, again, cannot be a check signer and cannot be related to any of the check signers by blood, marriage, or live in the same household. The audit should be performed by a committee chaired by an auditor, unless the auditor is a qualified accountant. So it could simply be, the auditor doing the audit and just having it reviewed by another person. Tax requirements, we'll cover that in a little bit. And then there should be an annual report. This annual report and the year-end audit should be presented and adopted at the first general meeting. Okay? And that's the financial statement for the previous year. Okay. So tax requirements. Taxes are usually due the 4 months and 15 days after the end of the fiscal year. And I think most of our units have a June 30th fiscal year, which makes the due dates November 15th. There are 3 different entities that we file taxes or other requirements with, and that's the Internal Revenue Service, the Franchise Tax Board, and the Attorney General. With the Internal Revenue Service, we file a form called 990, and there's different versions of it depending on the gross receipt of your unit. So if your unit generates less than $50,000 on a normal year, you would just file a simple 990N, and that's just an you file it online, and it's just answering a few questions. Now, if you generate more like 50,000 to 200,000 annually, you would file the 990EZ, and then anything above 200,000 would be the full form 990. Okay. Franchise Tax Board has pretty much the same limitations. If your gross receipts are less than 50,000, you can file a 199N, and that's again also done electronically online, very simple form. But if you have gross receipts of over 50,000, you would need to file a form 199. And I think a lot of our units actually have used CPA firms to file their taxes, so that, if you guys are not comfortable or familiar with filing these tax forms, there are CPAs out there who would do these for you. Okay. Attorney General, the charitable trust unit, units are required to file a form RRF-1. And if your gross receipts are less than 50,000, you'll file a supplemental form called CTTR1, because you guys are not filing the actual tax return. You're just doing that simple electronic one. But if the gross receipts are over 50,000, you would just file the RF1 and just attach a copy of your 990 with that form. Okay. With the Attorney General form, there is a filing fee. If your gross receipts is over 25,000, I think it's a $25 filing fee. Let's see. Oh, and then one other thing, if your unit holds a raffle, you will need to file a raffle registration form with the Attorney General, and then also file a report at the end of the year after you hold the raffle. Okay. And again, we'll go into more details of this in the treasurer's training. Okay. Some proper procedures. So guidelines for handling cash. You never want to leave the money unattended. You should have 2 people minimum there to count the money. Should be counted in a secure location. And there are forms on the CAPTA or SFPTA website that will help you, complete the verification process of counting the cash. The 2 counters, of course, again, should not be related. And you want to deposit this cash into your bank account as soon as possible. We don't want the cash to be just laying around. The guidelines pertaining to checks. So again, you want to make sure that every check request comes with a payment authorization and request for a reimbursement form with copies of receipts attached to it. This form should be signed by the president authorizing the payment. And once you receive that, you can issue the check with the 2 signatures. And because of all this COVID thing, we've actually now developed a process where you can replace the check issuance with paying, like using some kind of online bill pay through your bank. So, but since that is initiated by one single person, you want to have an additional form called authorization for payment via EFT bank bill pay service form signed by the 2 check signers. So that kind of replaces your 2 signatures on a check. You just have your 2 signatures on this form. And then once you receive this form, then the treasurer can go ahead and initiate the payment through your online process. Okay. So all of the payments must be made within the approved budget line item, of course, and they need to either be pre-approved by the association through a fund release or be ratified by the association at the next meeting. Okay, and once that is done, the payment authorization form should be signed by the secretary, stating that that payment has been approved. Okay, and finally, what are letters of determination? They are legal proof that, that your unit has nonprofit status, and some companies may ask for this letter when they're considering a donation to your PTA. So your unit can request a current letter of determination from CAPTA. They are available in the summer prior to the fiscal year, and they'll be issued in the name of the current president. The units must be in good standing with all of the governmental agencies, the IRS, the Franchise Tax Board, and the Attorney General, and with CAPTA before they can issue this letter. And being in good standing with CAPTA means that you have submitted your minimum membership requirement of 15 members and have paid the insurance annually. And, again, the websites for additional information as our second district website and the CAPTA website. And I think that's a quick, brief overview of what everyone should know about finances. And I think I saw a whole bunch of comments come through the chat. So let me try to catch up on some of that.
It looks like we have one hand up. Anne, do you want to ask a question?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Hi, thank you for the presentation. I have a question about the EFT. And for checks, you said there needs to be 2 signers, but if it's the EFT form, does that form have to be signed for each time like a check would be?
Yes, so that kind of replaces the
transaction. Check. Okay, yeah. So that form needs to be filed for every transaction.
Yeah.
That will be done by EFT.
Yeah, think of the form as a check. So every time you make a payment, you would require 2 signatures on that EFT form before the treasury can go ahead and initiate the fund transfer online.
And that form is part of the bank or part of the
No, it's a form that we've created, just like the payment request form. So it's available on the CAPTA website or on our website.
Okay, thank you.
Let's see.
Yeah, please. I know that's a lot of information that Sally was sharing with you all, but it's really important that the entire board understands at least the basics of the financials and doesn't leave it all to treasurer, just like Albert was saying earlier. So if you have questions, just raise your hand and ask. You can ask Sally. And we have other folks on the board too who.
There's a comment about the SFUSD employees. From my understanding, that is a SFUSD
Yep.
requirement that their employees cannot sign PTA checks. What else? Let me stop sharing the. Yes, I can see if there are any other hands up. Are there any other questions?
Maybe people are getting tired or they're just super confident with their finances. Well,
this presentation will be available online. So you want to refer back to it, and then you can also email me with any follow-up questions as well.
Maybe Sally, while we're waiting to see if anybody thinks of something else they want to ask, the next and last thing in our training today is going to be a breakout. We're going to have a section for secretary training, membership training, and parliamentarian training. And so what would be really helpful if everybody could do the rename yourself, you know, where you click on the 3 dots and rename yourself, and right next to your name, put which training you want to go to. So maybe do it in all caps so I know that you actually changed it to the thing you want to go to, and just write parliamentarian, membership, or secretary. And also know that you don't have to be one of those officers to attend those trainings. So if you're a president, maybe you'll want to go to the parliamentarian training so that you understand better how to run meetings in the organization. Or if you, maybe you don't have a membership chair in your PTA and you just want to learn more about how that works. So it's, you don't have to be in that meeting. So just wanted to clarify that. So if everybody can just adjust your name, that would be great. And I'm going to start getting people sorted out. Yes.
Michelle, could I just, this is Terry. One comment that I think is very important, and it has to do with the budget. I endorse everything that Sally said about the budget. There's one thing I think needs to be emphasized, that the budget has to be kept up because it's one of the items, along with the minutes, that the insurance company will ask for if you have to file a claim against for the liability or something like this. The insurance company is going to ask you for your budget and your minutes so that it shows that it's actually a PTA event that went on. So keep those up for both of those reasons. Does that make sense? Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. If people have questions, raise your hand. I see some people are dipping out, which is totally fine. But if you all can just make notes next to your names if you're sticking around for the final training, and we're gonna be here for a couple minutes while I get everybody separated. So.
Michelle, could you share what's happening in each of the 3 topics for the breakout rooms?
Yeah, so they're going to be training specifically about secretary duties. So that's things like keeping minutes, keeping track of your membership, what the secretary's role is throughout the PTA, the parliamentarian training, which also the parliamentarians are in charge of helping the meetings run smoothly. They're in charge of bylaws, starting the nominating committee, those sorts of things. Membership, obviously, as you all heard, everybody needs at least 15 members in their PTA to even have a PTA. But this is going to be, what are some strategies for increasing membership? What are the benefits of being a PTA member? But also the logistics of, what do you do with the membership as you're collecting it? How do you send it to the district PTA? Those kinds of things. So, and when I put you in the breakout rooms, you'll see that it's called secretary, parliamentarian, or membership. So anyway, so there are lots of people who have not added which training they want to go to. So if you can do that, and then I'll start moving people.
Michelle, just note that some people that are on phones might not be able to rename as easily. So we have a couple, or at least one in the chat for that. And if anyone else is on the phone or having trouble for any reason renaming yourself, just try to unmute or let us know.
And who is the person on the phone, so I make sure that I get them?
Catherine with a K. Catherine K something.
Catherine Klingensmith?
Yeah.
Great.
For
parliamentarian? Okay.
I think someone is on, there's no name, but they're only a phone. It's like a 510 number.
Right, I see that, Annie. It's the 510-359 number, wants to let us know if they can unmute and let us know which group they want to join.
Yes, please, of course. If you have the 510 phone number.
Oh, there's a person.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. That's just someone that's on dual, they said, so.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, great.
Thanks for noticing that though.
All right, has everybody, because let's see, there's still several people who don't have anything, but maybe you're not planning to go to the other.
Catherine Summer, secretary.
Okay. Yes, I absolutely can. And anybody else, I'm not looking at the chat, so if there's things you're writing that you want me to see, then just speak up so I can catch you.
Should I stay in the room, the main room, and answer any questions that people might have here that don't fall into the other categories?
I'm going to stay in just in case people kind of come and go. So you can, or if you want to join, I don't know, Annie, do you want somebody to join, or wait, which ones? I don't know, Sharon, which one you would be comfortable if somebody wants to double up to help with questions in their own sessions.
It's fine with me. I mean, I'm just gonna, you know, just do just the highlights, and whoever has question can also email me, and I have flyers that I can send them, PDFs.
I think Bursu wanted to be in the secretary meeting.
Okay.
Who does?
Bursu.
Sorry, we're saying your name wrong.
Hi there. Yeah, it's me. Yes, please. I wasn't sure where to enter, that I want to go there.
Oh, I haven't put everybody in. I'm assigning you, and then I'll push go. So I just want to make sure that, let's see, Bursu. Okay, let me make sure I have you. So Bursu, you wanted to go to secretary?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right, let me see who else I may have missed. Okay, so Annie is going to be going to secretary. Melissa, membership.
Michelle, you're still recording this section right now.
Yeah, let me stop recording. Hold on one second.